Hi, welcome to another edition of Back to Basics. This is Paulie Joan from Writer's World, and today we're going to talk about planning to pants. Today I wanted to speak to you specifically about planning to pants because we've already done a training on what is planning, what is pantsing, what is plantsing. So you've got a bit of an idea of what those are. And if you haven't seen that, please go back and check that video because this will make a lot more sense. And also at the end of each of these videos, I always end with plan to pants. So I thought I'd come on and explain a little bit more about what that means and how to do it. So we're going to cover three topics today. We're going to look at the usual recommendation, which is what we're usually told to do, and it doesn't always match up with what I'm going to be teaching you, and I'll explain why as we go along. We're also going to look at why you should plan first, and finally we're going to look at writing inductively, and I'll explain to you what that means. So let's get into our first topic, which is the usual recommendation. Now, what you're usually here to do is to plan from the heart and then write from the head. So plan intuitively. Trust your instincts to plan out what you're going to put in the book. So to plan, which is great, but to actually do that as a heart-based thing, and then to write from the head. So to think about the writing process. That's the normal recommendation. Here's the problem with it. Quite simply, and think about this, see if this sits right with you. Your brain will question your heart, but your heart just knows. So your heart, this is the whole point of intuition, is that knowing. But your head, it thinks about things, it's logical, it plans them through, like it plays with things and tries to work it out. So can you imagine how frustrating it must be if you trust your intuition to do this plan, and then you go into the writing process and all you're doing is questioning everything you've planned. Question, because your brain's questioning everything that you've intuited. So it's kind of like if you imagine going on a road trip, right? So if you've got a map and you're planning out your trip, planning from your heart and then writing from your head, it's kind of like planning a trip and doing all your plans based on all the awesome places that you want to go to, but not having any idea how you're going to get there. So you've planned out that, you know, based on your heart, you want to go here and you want to go there, and you're planning to do all these things, but you've never actually connected up how you're going to do that. You haven't logicked it, you haven't used the thought processes. And then when you go on your trip, suddenly you start thinking about it. Suddenly you go, oh, well, we can't go there because that's over there. And if we want to go there, we have to go here first. So that one we're not going to do. So we'll have to go here. And you're spending all your time thinking about all the things and going, well, now we can't do that thing that the heart wanted to do, and we can't do that thing that the heart wanted to do. So if you imagine it that way, I trust that it kind of makes sense. Like, just why? So planning from your heart and writing from your head, it just doesn't make sense. So let's go into the next topic of this subject, which is why you should plan first and why you should plan from your head. So I've already mentioned the heart doesn't question, it knows. So the heart is intuitive, it knows things. And then we let our head get involved and it starts questioning the heart. So it doesn't make sense to have all the heartfelt stuff and then have your brain come in and pull it apart. Wouldn't it make more sense to have your brain come in and just plan it all out and then get out of the way so that the heart can come in and go, okay, that's great, I like that plan. Now here is how we're going to make that awesome. Like, doesn't that just feel a bit more smarter? Doesn't that feel a bit more natural and like it is a path that would flow for you? So I would say get the head stuff out of the way first so that the heart can come in and just kind of play. So planning gives you an outline, yeah? It gives you a path, it gives you the map. So if we use our metaphor, our little thing that we used before, if you plan from your head first, It's like getting the map and going, okay, so this is point A, this is point B, this is where we're going to go, this is the direction that we're going to take, this is how we're going to get there. And then once you go on your trip, you intuitively allow yourself to go, oh, this place is awesome, let's go over here and have lunch here. Whereas if you were then planning, if you were then creating the pathway from your head would go, well, no, we don't have time to do that because we've got to go over to this thing. Whereas if you intuitively allow yourself to experience the journey based on the plan you already have, you can go, you know what, let's go have lunch here. Oh, this place is awesome, let's go see this place. And so it becomes more of a journey. So the plan is the guide, and then the journey is the experience. So the third topic that I want to cover today is writing inductively. And I want to start by explaining what I mean by that. So some of you might have heard of inductive and deductive thinking. And this is, again, intuition versus logic. So deductive thinking is taking what you already know, taking the facts, taking the knowledge, and deducing something from it. So it's, taking, for example, in science, it's taking all of this data and deducing, okay, because this, then this. Whereas inductive thinking is more about the what if. So it's looking at the data and going, okay, but what if this? And it's kind of looking at something greater. It's the creative thought process. And here's the thing with science. Most people in science are deductively practicing. But it's the inductive thinkers bringing something new that allows the deductive thinkers to prove those concepts. So inductive thought process is the creative thought process. It's the more open and flexible opportunity to create something new. So this is why I'm saying write inductively. If you were writing from your head, then you could only write deductively because the head is deductive. Intuition is inductive. It's allowing new processes. So write inductively once you've actually already done the planning, okay? So get out of the way of what wants to flow. And that's the thing. Intuition and inductive thinking is flow. Things want to come through. Let them come through. Trust your instincts to take the detour. So if you think back to the map analogy, it's having the plan, having the outline, but trusting your instincts to take those detours and go somewhere awesome and experience something new and something creative and something that you wouldn't have if you'd stuck completely to the plan. But the trick is coming back to the plan, because the plan is the overall path to get you where you want to go. So take the detours, take the opportunities, take the flexibility, have the journey, have the experiences, but come back to your plan. And that's why you should plan to pants. Remember that planning is having the guide and having the direction, whereas pantsing was just trusting your intuition. Planning is head, pantsing is heart. Do both. So the three key things to take away from today are: don't write from your head. Plan first, do the planning from your head, allow your head to plan that out, and then just get out of the way and let yourself write inductively. So let's just kind of review the metaphor. Plan where you're going, plan the journey. Then when you go on the journey, allow yourself to have the experience. Thank you for joining us again today. This has been Paulie Joan of Writer's World, and remember, until next time, plan to pants.